This is pure jank. This might work. I think it'll work. Maybe you're too short. Oh no, I got the thing on. Okay, here. I feel like this will work. I feel like if I want it hard enough. I gotta turn audio off on this, otherwise I'm gonna be hearing an echo. Okay. Alright. Unfortunately, eh. I'm optimistic about it. Alright. It feels so weird standing. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm working with for anybody that shows up in the past, present, or future. Is I have a laptop here that's displaying chat and my stream, so I can see myself however long the delay is. I'm wearing a wireless mic that's connected to my computer in another room, and I have my phone doing in like Elgato, like acting as a webcam essentially to make this happen. So if it's pure jank, it's because it's pure jank. But today, we're going to attempt to make my favorite, liver and onions. Now, how do I want to begin this? Let's see. So maybe the first question you ask is, why cook? Well, I guess as someone who's been cooking for a while now, I wasn't always a cook. It seems almost self-evident, but it's so that you can give yourself and your autonomy metaphysical power by taking responsibility into your own hands. It's like if you're a caveman, but instead of hunting, you're going out into the store, buying the food, hunting, killing it, and cooking it. Maybe that's not justification enough. I also read in a book once. Maybe I'm kind of all over the place. I don't know how I want to do this. All right. In Hacking the American Mind by Robert Lustig, he identifies the difference between dopamine and serotonin, which he draws conclusions to dopaminergic activities or things resembling dopamine, more focused on instant gratification things, whereas delayed gratification was more the response of contentment and things that resulted in serotonin. And then in it, he identified the 4 C's, one of which is cooking, the other of which is community, the other of which is coping, and I can't remember the 4th one. So maybe that's justification for you. I don't know. Regardless, today, we're going to be cooking liver and onions. And for it, you don't really need that much. Now, why liver? Well, it's mainly because liver, for me, I was trying to add more offals into my diet, or organ meat, because I had noted that the typical diet doesn't have all the vitamins you need. And also, because liver is very cheap. Only old people buy it, which means if the price is over $3 a pound, no one's paying for it. So there's an advantage. You too can age yourself by many years by buying beef liver. So all we need for the ingredients is liver, which I've had soaking in heavy cream for a couple days now. I kind of forgot about it. You can leave it as long as you want. Jalapenos, because I like a little bit of spice. You're going to need a pound of bacon. This is obviously more bacon than you need. And you're also going to need garlic. And then an onion, because it's liver and onions. Technically, it's liver, onions, jalapeno, bacon, but the bacon's kind of just there for people that are like, worried about liver, and they're like, oh, dude, like, liver sounds gross, and I've heard the texture is grainy. I don't know if I can eat it. Well, that's where our secret comes in, because we've had it soaking in milk. You only need to soak it in some kind of milk for about 20 minutes. My buddies prefer it over a day or about a day. I don't think it matters. As long as you do it at all, it removes some of the bitterness because the milk like breaks down the liver a little bit. So it's going to make it more palatable for somebody that hasn't had liver before. So, easy. Pretty simple. Oh, and we have butter, obviously. Salt and pepper. Pretty stereotypical. Now, where do we begin? Obviously, it's with cutting the onion. Can I give you a good view of this? That's a great question. Let's see. Let's see if I can give you a perfect view of cutting. I don't know if I can, honestly. I'm a believer, though. Maybe this. I mean, maybe that. Does that look good for you guys? I think it looks pretty good. All right. So when I cut, maybe I'll move this out of the way for you. When I cut, I employ the hand method. That's what I'm calling it. I hold the knife like this instead of like this, because this feels more natural to me. And then I hinge. Perfect. That's the first cut of the onions. Kind of like half, a little bit offset, because I don't want to cut this yet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check. It doesn't look like we have too much knot here. So that out. Take care of these knots here. You got like this knot on top of this and bottom. So what I'm going to do to preserve as much of the onion as I can, I'm going to do a triangle cut there. Easy. Both sides. Done. All right. Onion. You got to peel off the first. Cut it in half again. Get rid of this first layer here. It's all dirt and paper. No one cares about that. A little bit of extra we're going to have to cut off and trim, but that's fine. Easy. Some of this is a little flaccid looking for my taste. Let's get that out of there. And I maybe we can just take this off here. Yeah, maybe we'll cut that. Little angle cut. Okay. Paper out. To the trash. We're going to start crying very shortly. You can prevent crying by running it underwater slightly. We're going to do that to preserve my eyes. See if that helps. I'm going to do it for the other thing. Almost lost that. Okay. There's some more of this paper. Get this side done. I only commit to a cut when I know that my onion has consented to the cutting. Otherwise, I'd be afraid of cutting my hands. I actually don't like that top layer. I'm just gonna remove that whole thing. It's kind of wrinkly, dude. I got a big onion, but big or nice enough. Okay. Easy. Wash our hands. Keep your hands dry. And then we continue. So typically when I cut up the onions, I kind of like, I don't know, I'm aiming for like quarters is what I'm aiming for. So anything that gets me close to that. And the reason I cut the onion first before doing anything is because I want to make sure the onion is done and ready, that my crying fits are over when I actually start cooking. Because the bacon's going to take a moment. And that's completely fine. Perfect. Okay. I feel the pain oncoming. Keep our fingers out of the way here. Done. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. Let's get a plate to put that on. Uncensored onion cutting. Okay, now let's get this away from me. Preferably behind me. Okay. Next thing we're going to cut is we're going to start the bacon because that's going to take a minute. So I always add butter because I believe fat is good for you. I read it in a book somewhere and I'm sticking with it. It may not be. We'll see at the end of my life. Who lives longer, you or I? So I can turn this slightly so you can see the pot a little bit. So we're going to be doing some more stuff in there. There we go. All right. First thing you want to do, I cook everything on a hot plate because I'm cooking this at an office that was not made with a kitchen. And so we have made a kitchen. Hello, Mojo. How are you? How was your day? How are you feeling? Accomplished because the fence is done? Surviving? Thriving, I hope? Your lone liver? I'm going to do like 5, 6 cloves of garlic. I'm kind of a garlic so the more the merrier. Crack that garlic. Clove by clove. Perfect. Do you have a regular stove? I still have to work on the fence because my dogs are still getting out. Well, that sucks. Do I have a regular stove? Yeah, when I'm not at the office, I have a regular stove. But since we're here at the office, this is what we're working with. This is how a majority of the meals are made, with a hot plate. And this amazing pan that I found at Salvation Army for $13, which is a steal, frankly. Well, I'm sorry to hear your dogs are still getting out. At some point, you might just have to invest in like a auto turn system to tranquilize them and keep them in line. Or consider military operative drills from Caesar Milan to dog whisper your way into their heart. Alright, for some reason now post, I'm tearing up. It's just so emotional. I don't want to cut off any of the weird stuff I can see on this garlic. Oh, look at that. Butter is melting consistently. Shot collars on Amazon. Yeah, that'll probably work, honestly. That'd be a good way to keep them in line. I've heard some people talk about it being unethical or whatever, so I don't know. I'd probably test the shot collar myself before I put it on a dog. But obviously, you do you, man. Alright, so my liver recipe, I try to do a pound of bacon, but we're just going to fill up this pot to whatever we can get to. Doesn't matter if the bacon overlaps. We'll be getting to it later. It'll all have its time on the surface area at the bottom of the pot eventually. I also think the more bacon, the better. Like I said, if you're trying to introduce somebody to liver and onions for the first time, you got to introduce as many familiar concepts as possible. Things that people like, they crave, they want. Otherwise, they're not going to be amenable to trying your weird organ meat that you bought at the deli, bloody. Wash our hands, just in case. What do I do at said office? Well, typically I spend my day at the office and I do a multitude of things. I do programming on my game, I work on my board game, play on my computer, I stream, but I'm also because I've been here so often, I'm building maintenance, so I do whatever I can maintenance-wise, whether that's, I don't know, light stuff, sometimes basic electrical, sometimes just resetting breakers, sometimes installing doorknobs, dealing with toilets, sometimes just dealing with whatever people call and they lock themselves out of their own office and they don't have a key and I have all the keys, just things like that. Ayo, early stream, fucking poggers. Welcome, Drew, to the early stream where I go over information you have already been taught on cooking liver and onions. Perfect. Streamer, I'm bored. Eat a strip of raw bacon or a slab of raw liver. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to be honest. Because I got this liver a couple days ago, and I don't know. I mean, I tried, of course, but there's an aspect of me that, you know, just doesn't want to take that chance. Even if I trust my gut. I eat so much yogurt, it'd probably be fine, but I'm sure there'd be some suffering. Bacon is turning great. I can't smell anything because of the onion. But we are making progress. Also, aren't you at like work right now, or is it awful work now? You watching me at work, dude? The smell of garlic. I don't have the garlic early because it can burn. I had it kind of late. I had after I do the onions. If you have more control over your stove, I'd recommend doing it earlier. But for me, all right. Now we're gonna cut jalapenos. Pretty straightforward. Get the end off. I cut them down the center. Most people say that if you leave the seeds in there, that's where you get the hotness. That is not true. It is the ribs. These white ribs are where you actually get the hotness of the jalapeno. I don't care if I eat seeds. I do not have diverticulitis. And if I crap in the woods, then there will be jalapenos following me. So I just cut it all together. I can handle the heat. I can take it. I can handle seeds even though they don't add any flavor. I am not meticulous. Perfect. Okay. Set this aside. Get our garlic out of here. I'm watching from a hidden camera in your ceiling. Working from home today. Your mic is cutting out, crackling every now and then. Not sure if it's internet or related because it's infrequent. Gotcha. It actually might just be due because I have my wireless receiver for it, like, pretty far in my room over there. So, whatever the case, this is just a test stream, so if it fails, I can consider for the future. It also could be that I'm talking too low, so I can try being a little louder. That might potentially help. Or there might just be too much adjacent noise to deal with. Yeah, Drew, I think you would appreciate the ingenuity of how I have this set up. I have a laptop here with chat, which I guess I could in the future just do OBS probably off of the laptop, but I wasn't about to do that. I did it on my computer, and I'm using my wireless mic receiver plugged into the computer from considerably far away at the end of my office, and we're here. It's kind of jank, but I think it'll do. It'll do for this stream. I try to cook the bacon until it's like slightly brown, so that's what we're gonna aim for. It doesn't matter if it's undercooked because we will be cutting it into bacon bits and reintroducing it a little bit later. It's just quite easy. And yeah, honestly, if you are watching from a hidden camera, you can also turn this slightly upwards this way. Let's see if you get a, is that like a more, whoop, I want you to see the action, but I also want you to see me. Maybe this. We'll see how that works. I can just squat down for you. I got quite a bit of the floor in this angle. I'm watching it 15 seconds back and delay. Oh yeah, if I'm back here, you can see me. Perfect. Nah, since you're away from your Bluetooth receiver, it's probably that. Bluetooth maximum distance is 30 feet, so you're probably at its max or pass. No, actually, I'm pretty sure that these mics are like supposed to go like hundreds of meters away from the receiver. Technically. Like that was one of the advertisements for them. But obviously, we're in between a bunch of walls, so it's different than just being in an open area. If I didn't have all these walls here, I think it would be different. But I'm pretty sure I could walk quite a considerable distance away and still make this work. I'm not sure. I just feel that in my heart. Maybe I just believe the advertising in the mic. We'll see. What are you guys up to? Chilling? I caught you during your day? Oh, so it's not the Bluetooth then. It's the Wi-Fi. All right, it's probably the Wi-Fi. I could see that. It could be anything. We're doing a lot. We're taxing a lot of things. It's clear most of the time, just randomly garbles. Okay. I think I got probably about 20% of information to say and the rest is garble anyways, so I think that'll be fine. Alright, our bacon is coming along nicely. This whole meal is also relatively cheap. Probably less than 20 bucks. I mean, beef liver where I'm at now is like $2 a pound. Bacon can be anywhere from $3.99 to $4.99 a pound, depending on where you get it. Sometimes it's on sale if it's going bad. Jalapeno peppers are pretty cheap. Onions pretty cheap. Garlic's pretty cheap. Butter, you can get cheap butter if you need to. I'm working from home and doing a bunch of tests for corpo stuff and application stuff. Dude, it sounds like a good time. At least you're able to work from home. Do you enjoy it? Can you tell us what sort of applications you're testing? Or is that secret information? I was wondering when the companies were going to start deploying advertisements that were AI generated, like not from a text standpoint, but from an image standpoint. Like if they just associate you're like really into Kirby or something like that, they'll like make an advertisement with like Kirby eating some particular food that they think they can incentivize you to eat. I think that would be really funny. I imagine that's just a future concept that's going to happen inevitably, even if nobody has that idea yet. I imagine people do, but that'd be freaking hilarious to get some weird AI generated art ads, perhaps even entire animations completely generated to, you know, work for you. I wonder what their character profile on me would feed me regarding that sort of stuff. Alright, bacon's looking pretty good here. I have tongs. I'm going to use them. Bacon does not have to be done. It just needs to be close to done. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. Then we're going to chop it up. We're going to put the onions in. We'll be well on our way to getting liver and onions done. Is that a wok? No, it's not a wok. It's a weird pan that just happens to be like a middle line between a saucepan and a wok. But it's like a Tefal thing. I found it at Salvation Army, man, and it's been like the best pan I've ever had. It's amazing. I can't seem to find them online. I mean, I can look them up, but they're like $100 or something. Definitely worth it, but geez, there needs to be more of those things in existence. A lot of corpo tests are covering various policies like safety, tests for accessing sensitive data, tests for security awareness of hacker methods, and the application stuff is relevant to my job. I don't know what I'm doing, so I can't say. That's actually really funny. Yeah, I can understand that. You only have like a part of the whole, so it's kind of difficult to discern what exactly everything you're doing is. You just know you're doing it. Now we're going to put our bacon back on our cutting board. We're leaving all the fat in there because the fat is going to be soaked up by the onion. Okay, add the onion. Perfect. I had the jalapenos a lot later because they cook pretty quickly. And I like them to be a little bit crunchy rather than mushy. The goal with the onions is to make them slightly translucent or slightly transparent. Once they're like that, then they'll be good. We'll add more stuff to it. So we'll let those cook for now. Pretty good. I guess in the meantime, we can sit, we can stare in each other's eyes, figure out what's happening, what we can do about it. You guys read anything good lately? I know I'm supposed to entertain you, but There's something funny about me relying on you for content. I suppose I could just get a book and read it. That'd be kind of hilarious. I probably will do a stream later today too, where I'm actually doing programming or something like that, but I'm not sure. We'll see if Bronoham streams. Because I would much prefer watching him program. Or perhaps explaining things or trying to help while doing other stuff. Yeah, a book about composition by Edgar Payne. I'm pretty excited about starting the Tutorial S series. Dude, that sounds pretty good. Is that an art book? Edgar Payne. I have not heard that name. You said composition, so I'm assuming art related. The composing of images of some sort. I got a couple books on in between. I'm obviously, for the book club, I'm reading Marcus Aurelius's The Meditations, which is pretty fun. It's actually even funnier because I have a new translation of the book by Gregory Hayes, which I do not like. And then I found out I had an old one in my Great Books of the Western World, which I was not expecting. And I actually like that translation more because I'd read it in the past. And it was, I read a digital copy of it. It's by George Long. And it just sounds much more like, I don't know, mature. And I think it's because he uses like a lot of bigger words. And he also uses like that old English like thou and thou'st and like thy, that sort of like way of referring to people. And so it just sounds more like a classical product of its time. Whereas like the new translation is just so like, it's almost like fellow kids stoicism. It's like so bizarre. I'm trying to remember one of the lines. It was like in the original, this is probably like a terrible paraphrasing of it, but in the George Long translation, there's like a line where Marcus Aurelius goes like, all I am is a bit of blood, breath, all I am is a bit of flesh and blood, breath, and the ruling part or something like that. And then the new translation is like, all I am is body, mind, spirit, dude. Like, I feel like all of them need to have like dude at the end of it. Like, it'd be like, these are the way, like in Marcus Aurelius's, he'll like explain like how you damage your soul. Like, thy can damage their soul by thou's doing this and that and whatever. And then like the modern translation is like, here's how you injure your soul, bro. And it's like a 5-step thing, like it's numbered. It has like 5 numbers. Like, you can injure your soul by going outside in the sun. Like, it's just, it's so weird. It's just a very bizarre. It's supposed to be like a new translation and accessible, but I hate it. I don't like it at all. All right, so what are we doing now? Well, we're getting pretty close to the end of this. So we're going to cut up our bacon. I recommend waiting until this cools down a little bit if you don't hold the knife like I do. Otherwise, you're going to end up feeling the burn. All of this stuff can be overcooked within reason, except for the liver and onions. Because if you overcook that, then it gets really stiff, and it's just a little weird. So you want to try to pay most attention during that step when you do the liver. So we're going to add our bacon back. Also going to add the garlic. Make sure that I use all of this fat. I don't like to scrape my pan like this, but I'm just trying to get some of it off. Okay. We're still going to wait a little bit on the jalapenos. Actually, this is looking pretty good. Making big progress. Okay. And then I actually am going to add the jalapenos because we're just going to go straight to the liver, dude. This is cooking pretty quickly. Okay. He's one of the masters of art. That's cool. All right, liver, pretty simple. We're going to get it out of here. This has been soaking, like I said, in heavy cream for a little bit. Like 2 days, I think. You can do it for much less. And it's fine if it's soaked. Because it'll remove the bitter flavor and make it much more palatable. For people that haven't had liver, I really don't care. I can handle liver in any capacity. Thick, as you can see, some big, thick pieces. So I'm going to try to cut it into smaller, more manageable pieces. I'm just going to set it on the top for now, because we're going to salt and pepper everything, and then we're going to push it under to the bottom of the pan for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to watch it to make sure that it does not overcook. I would rather do small pieces than big, because I can check to make sure they cook properly. And this is a fat piece, dude. Chonky. Okay. That little piece in there. I'm gonna rinse my cutting board and my hands. Wash them. So yeah, I thought that translation was pretty funny, and then I actually, because I didn't like the new translation, and at the time I didn't realize the translation I liked was by George Long. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it when we did the lottery poll for the book club. So I suggested that they get another translation, which was not the new one, but was also not the old one. So I'm going to have to get a copy of that book because I want to be on the same term as the book club and understand what they read. And since the Meditations is only like 100 pages, I'm probably just going to read the entire thing 3 times, which should give me a pretty good understanding of it by then. Assuming that all the translations are in some way faithful, good, and not terrible. So we will see. Okay. Salt, pepper. I'm a pepper fiend. Okay. For salt. We haven't added any salt to this, so I'm probably going to put them under, and we're going to add even more salt. So let's turn this up a little bit. Get these lower here so that this cooks close to the bottom of the pan, as much as we can get anyways. All this stuff on top. Perfect. Okay, then we're gonna add more salt and pepper. And for those wondering, I am using real salt, which if you're wondering what the difference is, it is just unrefined mineral salt that's mined in America, which means it has a bunch of random stuff in it, like tiny bits of copper and other random stuff. It's pretty good. I like the flavor. And I'm also using black telecherry peppercorns, which are also packed in America, but I believe they're from somewhere else. But they're supposed to be the best peppercorns, is the black telecherry. I want to be honest, I can't really tell the difference. Doesn't make a difference to me. But they're not that expensive either, so. The best food is often made with just the best ingredients. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit for a couple minutes. Clean our workspace up as we go. I'm going to deal with it later. I actually need this butter. I can put that away. Perfect. Awesome. So we're not done yet, but that's pretty much liver and onions from start to finish. Just gonna let it cook a little bit more. We want the pink to be away and not. I can kind of flip these a little bit Make sure they get more evenly cooked rather than one-sided. Looks like we got a little bit of crisping happening on our onions, so that's pretty good. It smells pretty good. I already ate earlier, but I was like, I need to process this liver bad. I put it in milk. And I've left liver in milk for like a week, but it was like way too creamy for me, so I figured 2 days would be fine. You can also pull out your liver at some point and cut it in half, which is what we're going to do when I feel confident. But for now, I will be patient, awaiting silently. So yeah, I've been reading that. I've been reading this book called Gothic Violence by Mike Ma, which is kind of like a it's like a really angry character that does some kind of like terrorist level stuff. But it's like a really dark humor book. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I find it kind of entertaining myself because it's an interesting insight into a character that is morally dangerous, I guess. It's also kind of funny. When you say it was creamy after a week, was that a texture thing or a taste thing? It's a good question. I think it was a taste thing more so. It was very taste creamy. The texture was much softer though too. So there's two aspects of it. There is that it was slightly sweeter, and that the texture was smoother. Bad. If you're trying to introduce liver to people, I think you definitely want to soak it in milk for like a longer time. I've been soaking in heavy cream because I like the quality of the cream quite a bit. But if you just use milk, it probably would be less. It depends on what you're soaking it in, I think. I've also tried soaking it in buttermilk, and that basically is kind of like cream, but with even more fat, it feels like. So there wasn't that discernible of a difference. I think the time makes more of a difference generally. But we tend to buy more heavy cream anyways than milk because I use heavy cream for potatoes. So I have heavy cream on hand more than just milk. Smelling pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Guess I can cut one of these open and see where we're at. That's pretty good. So to show you guys, we've got a fork. So I don't know if you can see this. What we're looking for is we're looking for like the pink to be kind of reduced, for it to be more gray, but this is pretty much cooked. There's a little bit of pink on it, but the inside isn't like brown or red like it was initially. So that's pretty much done. And it'll also, depending on what you do with the pot, it'll cook for a couple of minutes in the pot. So I'm just going to leave it sitting here. It might overcook just slightly, but that's fine. As long as it's not overcooked to death. Actually, I should check that fat piece we have as well. So this thing is chunky as fuck. Let's see what that's at. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Yep, we're good. And that is liver and onions. Gives you a lot more vitamin A. It's actually a different type of vitamin A that carrots give you. It's something you can only get from meat. So if you feel like if you're worried you're potentially vitamin deficient in any way, I recommend trying liver at some point because it is a very cheap and nutrient-dense piece of food. It's relatively easy to cook. I think it only took like, 20-30 minutes. It doesn't require that many ingredients and is very good. And yeah, I think that's all I pretty much have to say about it. So we're here. Liver and onions are done. I'm gonna let those. That's it. That's the wrap. For anyone that showed up, thank you. This was a test stream. I'm gonna look back on the audio and see if it was actually good. It could be completely terrible. It was kind of a jank setup. It doesn't matter. I'll take a picture of it later. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming later. Maybe. If Bronaham's streaming, I'm going to watch him program. If he's playing games, I'm going to do my own stream. And we'll see how that goes. Have a great day. Have a good night. I got to walk to my computer to turn off stream, so you're going to have to hear me for a couple more minutes. That was essentially the quick and easy cooking of liver and onions, despite having a jank kitchen. For anyone that showed up, thank you. For our sponsors, for today's episodes of Cooking with Cody, we have no one. And that's completely fine. Appreciate it. Have a good night, and I will see you next time. Peace.